All right, everyone, welcome to Module 11. Let's go over your learning materials and some of the expectations for this particular module. We are through all of the data collection surveys and interviews. You've kind of been working on curating all of that data, all the responses from your participants and from the folks that you've interviewed. And now you're kind of like, okay, well, what do I do with this stuff? And you are at the doorstep of really taking the next leap into the HCD process, and that is selecting your idea. And your idea that you select from this point forward is a combination of a couple things. It's going to be the curation of all of that data, finding a problem that you want to try to help solve. And you've been mulling this over now since 394. You've been working on this for a while, but I think now the process is really starting to reveal, okay, what is it that I want to try to work on, but also what is needed in the organization. But you're going to also meet with your supervisor and you're going to ask them to help you kind of refine a little bit, what is it that our organization needs? What is it that we can reasonably done in the time that I am here in this internship. So let's go ahead and kind of break down what this week is gonna look like and what it's gonna look like at heading into a 12, 13, 14, and into the end of the semester. So again, this is it. This is the tipping point. This is really where you have to kind of bear down and say, all right, let's get going. Let's make a decision on what we're gonna do, good, bad, or indifferent. We have to commit and we have to move forward. So in day one of the week, so meaning today when you watch this video, I mean, in theory, when you watch this video, you are going to watch the video and you're going to do your reading. And so your reading materials are going to be here in obviously in the reading section. So you're going to click on each of these and you're going to do a good bit of work reading those, outlining them, taking notes. And then after that, you're going to start on your HCD work. So then you're going to go into the next piece, which I'll open up here in just a moment, which is going to kind of be, another one of those Google document templates. I don't want to get too far ahead of you here, but I want you to understand that like on day 1 and 2, really, this should be the bulk of like getting familiarized with the unit and making a plan for what you're going to do for the rest of the week. Then for the other days of the week, you should be working on your internship. And when I say working on your internship, that means actually doing what is requested of you by your supervisor. So you'd be doing that for about 4 hours. So whether that's working in a classroom or working at wherever your internship is, doing the things that your supervisor, that the internship itself actually requires you to do in order to meet your hours requirements. But 2 hours of that time in the week, not on that day, but in the week, should be dedicated to working on HCD stuff with your supervisor. So you should be bringing your ideas to them. You should be telling them about what you've learned about human-centered design and what you're thinking moving forward into building this next step, which is a prototype and eventually your project. And then finally, you should come back, and this is like Saturday, Sunday on the weekend, or right before the module is due, and finalizing your HCD work and doing your yellow dig posts. Yellow dig posts really should be being done throughout the week as well. And so I'm just kind of trying to give you a breakdown, like hour by hour, what you should be doing here to help you kind of be most productive with your time on task. So the overview of the module, we're going to look at bundling your ideas and critically assessing them and determining what to prototype. And we're not prototyping yet. Don't jump the gun on this one. It's really just we're kicking around some more ideas. We're taking all of that data from the surveys and the interviews that we've gotten, and we're going to build our just a foundation for our prototype. But it's really, this is the point where you have to decide, what am I going to do? There's no more thinking about it, no more, well, I got a couple ideas here and there. This is really where you have to kind of say, all right, this is it. I'm going to commit to this. Then later on in 12, 13, that's when we will actually build the prototype of this. So again, this is critical. It's a critical module. You're going to have the idea that you're going to prototype, and you're going to then take this idea and then go on to model it. And then you're going to go on later on in 494, you're going to actually put this into practice. You're going to implement it, okay? So don't skip any steps on this one. Make sure you're doing your reading. Make sure that you're communicating with your supervisor. And furthermore, make sure you're reaching out to your instructor, myself, Chris Watts, or Raylan Clausen if you need any assistance with the academic side of things. If things aren't happening for you in your internship and somehow hours are getting missed, or you're just not really connecting, or things aren't moving forward, you feel like you're kind of stalled, please reach out to Shua or Ebel. They will help you with making contact with your supervisor, reminding them of the partnership agreement that they have. They'll work on your behalf. They will advocate for you, okay? So we're going to examine ideas and bundle them together. We're going to take all of your ideas, we're going to kind of put them all together, and then evaluate those through a critical lens. And we're going to give you a way to do that here in this next step. And then once you've done that, you'll analyze all of your ideas. So you're going to take them all apart, and you're going to determine which is the one that you're going to prototype. Of course, you're going to do this in collaboration with your supervisor. You have several readings to do this week. Make sure that you're clicking on these links. Make sure that you're doing a diligent reading, meaning printing things off if you need to, underlining, taking notes. If you want to discuss any of these readings, I'm happy to meet with any of you. So are all the your other instructors, for those of you that are not my students in my group. All right, let's take a look at the template. So this is really the process for how you select an idea to prototype. And again, I'm going to emphasize how important the readings are. What I'm seeing in some of my classes and what has been brought up to me is that folks are kind of really glossing over this area here. Really, this is for you to synthesize these readings and kind of curate, like distill them down into one concrete, okay, this is the general idea of what I'm trying to do with this stuff. So many questions have been asked that can easily be answered by my first response is, well, did you do your reading? So do your readings, make sure that you're really putting a good amount of effort here into this. This is what I would be doing on day 1 and day 2 for your time on task. I get this piece out of the way. After that, you're going to bundle your ideas. So you're going to look at module 10, look at your brainstorm, and then you're going to start kicking around those ideas, and you're going to kind of try to like say, okay, which ones kind of fit together, which ones don't, which ones that I'm just not interested in after looking at my data, after going through my interviews. And think of this as kind of like mixing and matching your ideas. You're going to kind of combine and refine everything, okay? And then consolidate. And then share your ideas, put them into clusters, build those ideas into clusters. So 1 idea, 2 ideas, 3 ideas is probably appropriate. One is we here, what we want to see is kind of this upside down bell. We want to see you go from like this wide set of ideas down, 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 down to a more refined idea. And that's where you're going to get towards the bottom here. When you look at things through a critical lens, you're going to say, all right, what is it that I really want to do? Now, more than that, what does my organization need? What are the resources that I have in place? What is the time that I have allocated? What kind of financial resources do I need to put into place here? Am I going to be able to execute this? Does it require technology? Does it require infrastructure? Permission from parents? What is it that I have to do? What are all those things? So start looking at it through a critical lens, and then start kind of peeling off ideas that don't really work, that you think, man, I love this, but if I had 2 years to do it, it would be great. Or I love this. If I had 20 grand and 5 employees that were working with me on it, it would be great. But I can't do that. So then that's where you'll get down and you'll say, all right, now I have to kind of say with my idea, write out the user experience. So say, as a user of this product, or as a participant in this study, or as a student of mine, what will they go through? What is the step-by-step process? What does the user experience look like? So think of it like this. Many of you, most all of you, have probably been to a Starbucks before. Some of you even work for Starbucks. When you go to Starbucks, think of the experience that you have from the moment that you set foot through the front door of that store to when you leave. Are you greeted? Is the person's attitude good? Is everybody wearing the same uniform? Is your drink made quickly? Do they look chaotic in the back? Does it look clean and neat? Is there stuff for you to purchase? Is there a flow to the way that the store goes? Like, think of everything that is the user experience, and in that's when you're going to say, okay, I see how this is a very thought out process, and so that's where you're going to start getting it down. Then you're going to look at your strategic decisions. So look at that step that you just completed, user experience, and then say, okay, what can I do big picture to make sure that all of these little steps are seamless? what can I do to really drive this in? Like, how do I give it a 30,000 foot one line statement? This is what I will accomplish by doing this. After that, I want you to make an appointment. Really, honestly, you should be making an appointment on day one or day two with your supervisor because it will probably take them a few days to get back to you. But I want you to meet with your supervisor to determine really what you're going to do for your prototype because you need their permission. If you're doing this in isolation, if you're not getting permission from your supervisor, this could really blow up in your face. I've seen it happen before. I don't want to see it happen to any of you. So please get permission from your supervisor. If you're meeting with resistance from your supervisor, if they're really like, I don't know about this, this is it, please let me know. We can help to try and pivot and refine it a little bit. But honestly, it is really up to your supervisor in the end of where they want to let you go with this, or how far they think you can take it. All right, so that's that assignment. I'm going to close that out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back on to here. Make sure that you're filling out your timesheets. Folks, those timesheets are so important. We don't know what you're doing. The only way that we can tell is by you writing robust summaries and giving us an idea, clear picture as to what you are doing. Furthermore, those of you that have received notes, critiques from your instructors, and there have been no changes over the last several weeks, those will continue to be marked as incomplete. Even if you're turning them in, if they're not done correctly, they will be marked as incomplete. So please make sure that you're doing those. If you need assistance, just reach out. We will help you gladly. Last but not least is Yellow Dig. Make sure that you're participating in your Yellow Dig community. Make sure that you are engaging your classmates, and make sure that you are using you know, good decisions when it comes to posting and when it comes to answering, your fellow students. Good discourse is founded on people being able to speak critically to one another, but it also means that you have to back up your ideas with research and data. Other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with as far as what they're going to lock in with their idea, where they're going to take their prototype. If you need assistance, please reach out via email, Slack, or make an appointment on Calendly. Other than that, everybody have a great week. We are getting close to the end here. So please make sure that you are, if you have not really switched it on at this point, I know many of you are getting back from spring break. I know that there's a kind of a lag when it comes to that. And after the surveys, so we really haven't had a big critical assignment in a few weeks. Please make sure that like you're really getting the throttles pushed up at this point, because we only have a few weeks left. It's going to come faster than you think, and we do not want to go into the end of the semester and into the summer break kind of leaving things in limbo at all. So thank you and have a great week.